Hello and welcome to Van TV Media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends to get daily updates.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Van TV Media. Guys, if you're new, please just consider subscribing to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that in case we do upload any story, you'll be the first one to view. Thank you, guys, for those people who are new here, and for those people who've not subscribed to this channel and you are new here, please do so. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be updated whenever I post anything in our platform. We are still in America, whereby we've seen white people have decided to react on what happened, have decided to react on Donald Trump's decision after Donald Trump decided to do what decided to get back the white people who are in South Africa, the refugees who are in South Africa. So whenever I see some of the clips, I've seen people commenting on it. So just listen to this story and we'll proceed on.
Africa has faced racial persecution. In fact, the government there has vowed to take away their farmland that they own. And so the president has talked significantly about this. As for further details on refugee claims and asylum claims, I would defer you to the State Department.
So the Trump administration is not allowing anybody from the southern border to be able to seek asylum, but he's allowing South Africans to seek asylum? Again, no one that crosses that border from the southern border can seek asylum, but yet he could go ahead and make room for South Africans who are just losing land, as opposed to South Americans who are fleeing their countries from gangs, from violence, from crime. He says no to them, but he's saying yes to those South Africans who are losing land. If this administration has not shown you yet that they are racist as fuck, this is an indicator. This is a great example. So fuck all the brown people, but he'll bring in South Africans who are white, not the black ones, but the white ones here to the United States.
Trump administration is set to fly in tens of thousands of South African white people to the United States as refugees next week. And yet Kilmar Abrego Garcia sits in an El Salvadorian prison for what? For what? Things that you couldn't prove. If you don't remember, back in January 20th, Trump signed an executive order basically stating, we don't want to bring in any more refugees. We're not bringing in any more refugees. Although we know that executive orders don't hold legal weight and it's more than a statement. This is definitely contradicting, isn't it? Well, it's not, because he's a racist. A racist goes against his own actual public statement saying that we can't accept more refugees, but constantly tries to kick out any brown person or any non-white person in this country because of their refugee status, even if they're here legally or not. Now, we know Elon Musk is from South Africa, of course, but he added to this conversation in saying that Africa has not done well at stopping racism and overall violence towards white farmers in Africa. I wonder why. It couldn't be because of the apartheid. Huh? It couldn't be because you made them slaves. This is just another I am outside and I am a racist agenda from Donald Trump, and he proves it in real time. He does not care what he contradicts.
White people in South Africa, Afrikaners, are claiming racial discrimination, and because of this, the Trump administration is granting them refugee status here in the United States. Now, never mind that claims of discrimination doesn't meet the threshold for refugee status under domestic and international refugee law. And never mind that Trump suspended the refugee resettlement program after he got elected into office, because these white Afrikaners get an exception. Don't worry about the millions of refugees in Sudan and Libya and the Congo who are facing historic levels of hunger and violence in their countries. Let's focus on these white people who feel like they're being discriminated against. And let's fast track their process, something that usually takes 1 to 2 years. Let's not make these white South Afrikaners wait more than 3 months. This is just one of the many reasons why that woke family member at the dinner table thinks that you're a racist bigot for supporting Trump.
Hey y'all, it's Gigi. It's Saturday evening and I have some disgusting, updating news. A lot of what Trump does upsets me. But what I'm about to tell you has really got me infuriated. I'm disgusted. The Trump regime is chartering a plane with State Department funds to bring home some white folks from South Africa, and we'll be allowing them to have refugee status. Okay? Refugee status was put on hold. Weren't going to be allowed to do that a few months ago under Trump. And he stated, we don't have any room in the country for anyone else right now, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, we are getting rid of all of the brown people, right? Many of them are not here unlawfully. They were on visas or what have you. So, we're not going to argue that, MAGA. We're not. Okay. We're getting rid of brown people, claiming we don't have room for them, they're criminals, the whole thing. At the same time that we are now opening up our country to a bunch of folks, we have no idea who they are. Who vetted them? Oh, no, we do know who they are. We do. They're white. They're freaking white. Did we suddenly, now we can let refugees back in? Okay. There is no planet that you're ever going to be able to convince me that we're getting rid of a whole bunch of brown people at the same time that we're letting in just white people. And that is going to look like anything other than what it is, racism. So, MAGA and Trump supporters, I am not ignorant enough to say all of you are racist, because you're not. Not every single person who follows Trump is a racist. I know. It's hard for the rest of us to believe, but it's true. They're not. But most of you are.
Not that I haven't been screaming that this is about racism, but Trump confirmed it. Trump has chartered a plane with our tax money to go to South Africa and pick up a bunch of white South African refugees and bring them to the United States. Trump's administration is aiming to bring the first group, there's going to be more groups, of South Africans to the United States via its refugee program as soon as next week. A divisive effort, given that Trump has been blocking refugee admissions from the rest of the world. Okay, so we know this has got something to do with Elon. It's probably like his fucking family or something like that. The Trump administration aims to fly the initial cohort of about 50 Afrikaners into Washington, Dulles, requesting anonymity to share internal plans. The group would participate in a press conference at the airport and then board flights to their U.S. destinations. Trump kicked off a wide-ranging immigration crackdown after taking office in January, including an indefinite suspension of refugee resettlement. In a related executive order, Republican President said the U.S. would only admit refugees who can fully and appropriately assimilate. Lord. Despite the broad refugee freeze, Trump in February called on the U.S. to prioritize resettling Afrikaners, descendants of mostly Dutch early settlers, saying they were victims of unjust racial discrimination. The white people were victims of discrimination. The assertion that minority white South Africans face discrimination from the black majority has spread in far-right circles for years and been echoed by Trump's white South African-born ally Elon Musk. The average white household in South Africa owns 20 times the wealth of the average black household, according to the Review of Political Economy. Don't ever tell me it's not about racism ever again.
So Trump signed an executive order to bring white South African refugees to America, despite the fact that they suspended any sort of immigration into the U.S. Tell me how it's not racist. I'm waiting.
So South Africa's own government is even coming out today and telling Trump, if you want to take on these refugees, that's on you. But just so you know, none of them have been properly vetted. A lot of them have been involved in protests that are pro-apartheid. And on top of that, these guys are actually claiming that they're being persecuted for being white. I don't know if you know a whole lot about South Africa, where Elon Musk is from, but the apartheid just ended not very long ago. If you don't know what that is, it was mass segregation. South Africa's government also came out and added that it's really hard to be a refugee of persecution when you're amongst the most highest earners and highly educated in the entire region. But in my personal opinion, this kind of gives me remnants of Operation Paperclip, what the US government did after World War II. They got a little over 1,500 German scientists and high-ranking officials from the military, Hitler's military, to come over to the United States so they could learn from them. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 2 + 2 = 4. What Trump's been doing here in the United States as far as deporting individuals, they've all been brown people. And now he's more than willing to bring thousands of white people claiming they've been persecuted by brown people without even fully vetting them. The answer to this simple mathematical equation is Trump wants more white people in the United States. If it ain't white, it ain't right. And that's literally Trump's mindset. You can't prove me otherwise.
So Trump found his heart. He's going to help these poor whites from South Africa who are being, according to him, being treated horribly, living in terrible conditions, facing racism, just being treated inhumanely, and having their land seized. And they're going to be able to come here within 3 months and have refugee status, which is great because every other refugee, it takes like 2 years if you're from South America, Central America, island nations, Middle Eastern nations. It takes like up to 2 years. So, hey, they're really speeding up the process for these whites in South Africa. But there's like 7% of the nation, or under 10% of the nation's white. And like 70% of the nation is owned by whites. And, well, during apartheid, they kicked all of the black people out of the white areas. Like for Cape Town, for instance, you can't live in Cape Town. You can work here for the whites, but no, you've got to live out here in the poor sections, in these shacks, these rundown areas. But when apartheid ended and white people started realizing things weren't so rosy on the other side, whenever things changed, and they started living along with some of these in these black communities, in these shacks. Trump doesn't care about that. He would just call that area to be disgusting. I mean, he doesn't care. This guy has zero heart. He just doesn't want anyone of color living here. He's trying to do just like some of these crusaders did in Europe. He wants to make America white. We all know that. It's nothing new. That's what ICE is doing now, is getting rid of the brown in this country. ICE, a.k.a. the Klan. So if you believe that Trump actually has a heart because he's helping these whites from South Africa, the Afrikaners, come here, you're blinded by the orange. Yeah. The only land that was ever seized in South Africa was by the original colonizers, their ancestors, that got rid of the herders, the nomads, and the Bantu people. Just like what happened here with the indigenous people. Only we brought over African people here. So Trump found his heart.
They only want white people here. Because when we think about refugees who need immediate resettlement, expedited screenings, we usually think about people who are fleeing extreme violence, persecution, famine, war in places like South Sudan, Myanmar, the Congo, not white Afrikaners. See that chartered plane the Trump administration is sending? It's not going to collect refugees that have been sitting in resettlement camps for years, fully vetted, waiting to come to the United States to escape violence. No, it's going to South Africa to collect white people who claim they're being discriminated against. Why would they be getting discriminated against? Probably because they spent generations instituting legalized forms of racial segregation and discrimination called apartheid, aka Stephen Miller's wet dream. See, while the rest of the world after World War II saw that maybe racial discrimination not such a hot idea and favored more policies of integration and away from colonization, Afrikaners doubled down on that shit and instituted apartheid. Although it ended over 30 years ago, the social and economic legacies of apartheid continue today. South Africa is the most unequal country in the entire world, according to the World Bank, with white South Africans earning over 12 times what black South Africans do. But don't worry, we're going to make sure that the white Afrikaners who instituted generations of discrimination and segregation against black people get everything they need to get started here in the United States in their new life.
Right, that's how people are reacting on the Donald Trump's decision of flying people or refugees from South Africa to America. So this started this. People from South Africa, the refugees who were in South Africa, complained of discrimination. They accused South Africans, blacks, people in South Africa, discriminating them, and cried for help to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump didn't hesitate. Donald Trump decided to get them to America. You know, 3 months ago, Donald Trump said that he was closing the refugee camps in America. He didn't want to see any refugee camps in America, and decided to deport those refugees who are there, and those refugees who are black in America. So that scenario, it has brought in deciding to give back the refugees who are in South Africa to America. So these things has made most people reacting differently, whereby he has accused of being racist. So people who are black and people who are white, it seems that Donald Trump, he's trying to add up a number of white people in America and reducing the number of black people in America. It is a matter of the additions and subtraction. He want to add white people in America and subtract the black people in America in these all activities that is trying to do in America. You've seen deportation did high number of people. He did a deportation of high number of people from America, and most of them were blacks. So he don't want to associate with the black people in America, and want to see those people who are in I think he has started with South Africa, but I think he will be looking for the people who are in different countries but they are white, to get back to the country, so that the number of white people can be increased in America. And you've seen there's a certain clip, Silo, you see, sir, there's a lady complaining that those people who are in America, they have not been given a first priority. She's asking, why is it that the people who are in America, in South America, are not being the first priority? This is the matter of math. This is the matter of math. So people who are in America don't want to do. It has nothing to do with them. The plan is, there are people who are in America. For him, they are already in America, but his decision is that he want to add up a number of people in America. So he want to add a number of white people in America. So he can't even bother about those who are already. You can't even bother about those whites who are already in America. But his math is that he want to add up a number. So you've seen the people who are the white in America are accusing him because of not giving them first priority. And you can see most people, you see, this thing may cause harm to the white people, if I can say that, can bring harm to white people, whereby in other countries that has white people, has the refugees, has the white refugees, may look upon and say that white people are a racist, so they will not allow, they will not bother to work with them. So it is just a fight of white and black people, a fight that is being brought up by Donald Trump math, whereby want to add and subtract. Is adding white people in America and subtracting black people in America. So these things it has painted a bad image onto Donald Trump, bad image of racist, whereby he's being called a racist. This thing is just a racist. Most people will just see him as a racist. Just tell us your comment. Just drop your comment down below and tell us what is your opinion on this issue, where Donald Trump has decided to get people from South Africa who are white, after them complaining that they are being discriminated in South Africa. The thing that doesn't add up. Whenever you see people in South Africa, the black people are the one complaining that white people are discriminating them. Even there's a place I saw somewhere, that there's a place in South Africa, there's a town in South Africa that white people are only staying there. Is a place where only white people are supposed to enter. Black people have been said not to enter in that place. So whom do you see is discriminating someone? I don't even, this thing doesn't add up. This thing doesn't add up. If you've seen a certain place like that one, just inbox me, just put on description and tell us, is it true? If you are in South Africa, just tell us how white people are being handled there. Is it true they are being discriminated the way they have said to the president of America? Is it true? Because most people, we know that large number of white people is in South Africa, and there are some places where white people are discriminating black people. It is now opposite. Just tell us in the comment section. And guys, if you've not subscribed to this channel, just subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, so that in case we do upload any story, you will be the first one to view. And let us meet in the next episode.